So we will open then the meeting of the Town of Lake Lure Town Council regular meeting Tuesday, October the 12th at 5 p.m. The meeting's being held by Zoom, and we appreciate your being with us by Zoom, and the instructions that were there prior to our opening the meeting that Olivia provided for us will let you know how you can communicate if you wish to speak at the part where the public is invited to speak. If for any reason you were not able to navigate that or not exactly sure what you're supposed to do, please feel free to either push your chat button or to email Olivia to let her know if you would like to speak. That having been said, we will move to item number 2, which is the agenda adoption. Are there any changes, edits, deletions that need to be made to the agenda? And if not, do I hear a motion to adopt the agenda as written?
We do have one addition. We all got the email about the request from the chamber for to have their ceremony on Friday 26th. They do it every year, and but we need to approve that. They'll be using some town property, and we're also to waive the peddler's ordinance so can sell hot chocolate. So I'd like to add that to the
okay, you're a little broken. If someone can hear it better than I, or could you repeat that? So is this to be added under new business?
No, consent. Do it under the consent. And Olivia sent an email. I think we all got it. It's the annual tree lighting ceremony, and we have to approve that because they put the tree over there is on time, and that was to waive
so we will add the chamber tree lighting ceremony as item C under consent agenda.
Yes.
Is there anything else? Are there any other changes or edits? In that case, do I hear a motion to approve the agenda as amended? I'm sorry, I'm not.
Commissioner Kilby, I'll make the motion to approve as
all right.
Amended.
Thank you. And do I hear a second?
Second.
Commissioner DiOrio seconded. Now we got some delay. I'm not sure what's happening. We got some delay.
We do have some delay, and I apologize to everybody for that. All in favor then of adopting the agenda as amended? If you would mind just voting with your name, please.
DiOrio, aye.
Kilby, aye.
Moore, aye.
All right, then the amendment stands adopted as amended. Thank you very much. We will move on then to the mayor's communications. And I would just like to say, we were, this last week, we certainly were at the mercy of the weather, so to speak, the rain and the floods that came down our river. And it is nothing that we've not experienced before, but is certainly always distressing to everyone. And I was fortunate, I kind of remember that movie, A Room with a View, to be able to stand on my boathouse this afternoon and actually watch our crew in action as they were able to clean up some of the debris with our new equipment. So we just want to thank all the people in the lake operations division for their assistance in cleaning up all the debris. Though the boom is in place and it is functional, it's not always able to accommodate all the water that comes rushing down the Broad River, and sometimes debris is just going to overtop that boom. So this is one of the, on good days, we think of all the good things about Lake Lure, and when it rains hard, then we realize what some of the, some things that may happen during rain. So we certainly appreciate Dana and all of her crew in helping us get our lake back to where we want it to be. So thank you so much, all of you, for that. We appreciate that very much. We will move on then to the item number 4, the town manager's communications. Mr. Baldwin.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just would like to also express appreciation to staff for rallying during and after the rains, especially Dean Chase down at Dam and Hydro Station, and then also Dana. I personally received a couple of emails, folks requesting a little extra effort regarding lake debris cleanup. And so I've asked Dana if she would just to kind of briefly describe how she has organized the crews for lake cleanup for the rest of this week. So Dana, go ahead if you will, please.
Yeah, so we actually have 3 crews out on the water. And so we have Mark Povans and Dave Lusk out on our Lake Lure work barge. And we have Chris Shields out on that new We-Do boat that everyone loves. It's perfectly designed for just this lake debris cleanup. It's been amazing. And then we also have Todd, who is a member of Tim Edwards' dredging crew. And so they are out also helping us with their work barge. And they also have a big backhoe on their work barge. And so that's been very handy as well. And it's pretty much, I would say about 80% done already.
Great. Dana, thank you so much. And then also we have the other department heads that are online. You have the department reports. So if you have any questions about what's in your packet, please feel free to ask any questions. If you don't have any questions, feel free to move on to the next item.
Are there any questions for anyone, for any of the department heads? And once again, Dana and all of your crew, we appreciate everything that you've done. Any questions for any of the department heads?
No questions.
In that case, we'll move on to item number 5, which is council liaison reports and comments. Commissioner Kilby.
Short and sweet. Lake Advisory did not meet this month, and ABC board meets next week. We are having a number of personnel changes and so forth at the ABC store, and working diligently to try to get all that straightened out. And we have open positions 2 there, and thank goodness Jennifer's been working, and staff has been working real well with the Linda Samarato, the chairperson of the ABC, and getting Indeed and different kinds of applications for interviews. So everything's going well there. That's all I have.
Thank you so much. Commissioner Diorio.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. So the UAB did not meet this month, but they will meet next month. And the topic at hand will be the body of work that Mike Williams is doing with respect to the rezone, the working with AT&T and the construction firm for, which includes the master plan update and renewal. So they'll go through all that body of work before we see it again. I mean, we've seen it several times. So they'll take one last look at it before it goes up to council, and hopefully in November, Mike may speak to this in a little bit, but you know, in November, we're going to try to get all that body of work together and get it approved so we can get that to AT&T, who's very motivated on the project, and get with their construction agent to start working on that. And once we get all that approved, hearing with the folks in Lake Lure, comment and address all those issues, we're off and running, and it'll probably take about 8 to 10 months probably to get the up, and then we'll get connectivity to the folks that have not had it for years. And so we're very hopeful about that. I wanted to add anything at this point since I started talking about it and the latest with that.
Okay, thank you so much for that.
Well, hang on, I just asked Mike, Madam Mayor, hang on, I didn't know if Mike had a comment. Did you want to add something, Mike? Or
no, everything he had to say is right on target.
Yeah.
I was actually just sending a follow-up interview. I made an email back to the contractor for the tower. I've got a site plan survey from them and confirming what we want in the photo sims. So we have a picture from ground level, looking from the lake
Good.
towards Chimney Rock and seeing the tower off to the right side, and then a view from the beach looking at the tower, just to give a perspective of what it's going to look like.
Yeah, so we'll need all that because I think one thing for the public hearing that we're going to want is a picture, right? This is what the tower is going to look like. This is where it's going to be, so everyone can visualize it. You know, a picture's worth 1,000 words, and I think that would go far. So we'll get all that data together and get ready for that hearing made in November, Madam Mayor. And so that's what we're looking at.
Okay, thank you so much. I apologize. We are a little bit delayed in some of the conversations, so sometimes a couple of things you're saying is lost. So kind of
Okay.
bear with us on that one.
Okay.
Anything else from you, Commissioner Diorio? Is that
No, that can my report.
okay? Commissioner Bryant, have you been able to join us yet? So Commissioner Bryant may not be able to. I'm not hearing that Commissioner Bryant is with us. So we will have an update at a later time on Parks and Recreation. And we'll just move on to our next item, which is the public comment. And everyone who joined a little bit early was able to take advantage of the screen that Olivia put up for everyone to let you know how you are able to access your place in the queue for a public comment. We certainly invite you to speak, so please keep your comments limited to 5 minutes or less. And please, when you begin to speak, state your name and your address. Olivia, I will sort of turn this over to you at this point. Do you have anyone who has raised their hand according to your instruction, who has indicated to you that they wish to speak?
I do not at the moment. Since I'm not seeing any, if someone wants to speak and just wants to go ahead and unmute, that's fine.
Okay, if there's anyone out there who would like to unmute and speak, please let us know. Okay, well, we certainly will take that there no one is at this time who wishes to take advantage of our public comment, and we'll move on to item number 7, which is our consent agenda. Having had an opportunity to read the amended consent agenda, do I hear a motion to accept the consent agenda as amended?
Diorio, I move that consent agenda is presented.
Is there a second?
Moore will second.
All right, all in favor?
Diorio, aye.
Kilby, aye.
Moore, aye.
The consent agenda stands approved as amended. We'll move on. Item 8, unfinished business. There is no unfinished business, so we will move ahead to our new business. The first item on our section for new business, Lake Lure Tours concession agreement, off-season beach opening / closing. Shannon, I will turn that either over to you or to whomever you wish to direct that conversation.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So Dana is filling in for Dean Gibbons, and so she will be the presenter. Dana?
Okay, so Lake Lure Tours is requesting a change in the concession agreement regarding the opening and closing of the beach to unsupervised public access. They feel that having the beach open during certain times of the year is a safety issue from the people swimming and no lifeguard being on duty. And then it's also a change, and it would benefit law enforcement officers because they're having to devote a good bit of time to policing that area and responding to calls. Several officers have wrote in and said they had responded to 52 calls of illegal swimming at the beach area, and that was just between 2018 and 2021. And so you have before you what they are requesting. Number 1, that the beach remain closed from 1 week after Labor Day weekend until November 15th, 2021. 2, that the beach be reopened November 15th, 2021 for complimentary unsupervised no swimming public access until the lake has been returned to full pond on or around April 15th, 2021. And 3, that the beach be reclosed to unsupervised public access until reopened by Lake Lure Tours on or 1 week prior to Memorial Day weekend.
Dana, did you guys have an opportunity to speak with the president of Lake Lure Tours regarding the concession agreement?
I was not able to, and I was not able to confirm if Deacon did.
Are there any other questions for Dana from anyone?
Just a comment. I passed by there on Saturday and saw 4 people climbing over the fence, over by the slide. They were on their way out, I think. I'm not sure what they had been doing, but people are still abusing that, the lock gate.
Okay, thanks for that insight. Anything else from any other commissioners or any department heads? I know that, you know, in the packet, the Lake Lure Police Department staff expressed the opinion that keeping each other without safety measures is a public safety risk. So that's certainly something that we need to weigh into it. Are there any questions or comments from any other commissioners? Are we ready to make a motion at this time to approve or deny the requested amendments? Do I hear a motion to either approve or deny the requested amendments to the Lake Lure Tours Town of Lake Lure concession agreement regarding off-season beach opening closing as presented?
Madam Mayor, Diorio, I recommend that we approve the board action Lake Lure Tours concession agreement off-season and closing proposal.
Do I hear a second?
Kilby, I'll second that.
All right, all in favor, if you'll please state your name.
Diorio, aye.
Kilby, aye.
John, I wasn't able to hear you. Was that a vote yes?
Yes, aye.
All right, thank you. I'm sorry, there's a delay. It's not your fault by any means. Then the motion to approve the requested amendments to the Lake Lure Tours Town of Lake Lure concession agreement is approved unanimously. Thank you so much. We'll move on to our next item of new business, which is the Firefly Cove water supply. Shannon, I'll defer to you. I'm not sure if Kurt is on board with us or not, but I'll just defer to you on that.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, he is.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so just a little bit of background. There have been years of engineering analysis and study done for the water system over in that area. Basically, where we are today is based on some new discovery that Kurt and David Airwood have made. And so Kurt is presenting to you a proposal that will move us forward. And we believe we have great news for what can be done and what probably should be done. So that having been said, I'll defer to Kurt.
All
Okay,
right, thank you, Kurt.
thank you. I'll be brief and then ask any questions you may have. We're at the point now where we have identified the recommended option. There were several options I presented to you earlier. The option in that memo in July is called option 2, and it's called blend no treat. And essentially what that means is bring on some other wells and test those wells and see if what the radionuclides are like, and if they're low, we'll bring them on. Essentially what we found out since that time in July is that there are 3 wells on the system that can actually produce water. 5 drilled, 3 can produce water. One of those wells never had a pump put in it. It's called well number 2. It's not known why that happened, but it was actually permitted to be on the system. So what we decided to do was check that well out. Will it produce water now? Because it was drilled in 2005. And what are the radionuclides like? Well number 2 happens to be within about 50 feet of well number 1. Well number 1 is the main well. It's been functioning ever since the system's been online. The only well that's now currently providing water for that system. We just got the results of both the 24-hour drawdown, and that's good. It's producing somewhere around 9 to 12 GPM. And we just got the radionuclides today, and they're low. They're below the limits, so that's good news. The radionuclides are similar to what's in well number 1, which is what we thought. So what I decided to do was make a recommendation to you that the next step is for me to prepare what I call basis of design. And I'll explain that as brief as I can. There are some issues related to pumping. I won't get into the detail, but it's more complicated than just dropping a pump in well number 2. So we will evaluate pumping options. Also, when we were checking out the Firefly Cove system, we discovered that there's some operational issues with how full to fill the tank. So we'll get that addressed in this basis of design. And number 3, there's some issues about power supply, basically single phase and 3-phase. I won't go into details. I'll answer any questions you might have. Those are 3 basic fundamental things we need to check out. And I have a team coming. I have my electrical sub. It's Sturgill Associates out of Lexington, North Carolina, who SDG exclusively subcontracts to Sturgill for electrical and controls. And Randy Sturgill, the owner of that company, will come himself. Also, I have a gentleman by the name of Mike Polius. He's an engineer with several years experience in water systems, and he's with Dewberry Engineers, and he will be coming. So my team will be myself, Randy Sturgill for electrical and controls, and Mike Polius for pump design and tank operation and those types of things. The 3 of us will meet with David Arrowood and Chuck Amaker, and hopefully, if possible, we can get Dan Kimball out there for his controls. And we will spend the day doing a site recon, and we will ask questions of David Arrowood and Chuck Amaker as to how they want this to function. We will work out the details. We'll give them options about the pumping and so on. And at the end of the day, we'll select these different options. We'll nail down what the operators want. And then I will reduce that to a document called the basis of design. And what the basis of design will present to you, these are the specific items that we're recommending to do on the system. And submit that to you for your consideration, and we'll incorporate any input that you may have. Once we have received your input on that, we will submit that basis of design to the Asheville Regional Office and get their concurrence. I'm sure they will be happy with it, but we do want them to know what our plans are. And once we have a discussion with them, then the next step is actually to do the design and permitting phase. Are there any questions?
If I could, Madam Mayor, let me add a perspective of what this actually means to the folks in Firefly Cove. So if you go back in history, remember with the solution that was presented about 2 years ago, they've been working for years from Withers Ravenel, was a $500,000 pump station coming from a remote source to provide a redundant feature for Cove. The Kurtz work and the body of work that he did working with our public works with David Arrowood has now determined that the system itself in Firefly Cove has a redundant feature and can support itself. So what we're talking about here is that the system, after Kurt and the team come back with a recommendation, what it means is there'll be redundancy. So if one well fails or a pump in a well fails, we'll have a redundant feature. Also, there's enough water to provide for any expansion conceivable in Firefly Cove into the future, and probably even further down Boys Camp Road if we really needed to. So those initial concerns will be alleviated and the system will be automated so that we don't have to have a person go over there daily to check the water level in the reservoir up top. And so it's less manpower intensive. Get all this benefit for a fraction of what we would have spent with the $100,000 pump station. We're probably in the order of magnitude of $50,000 to $75,000 for everything, and we're in much better shape due to the diligence of taking a look at what we actually had. This for the town, and I just wanted to share that with the folks in Lake Lure of what they're actually getting for this initiative.
And Madam Mayor,
Thank you so much, Commissioner Diorio. We appreciate that. Are there any other questions for either Kurt, our town engineer, or for anyone else in that department?
just a little additional information, Madam Mayor. Commissioner Diorio mentioned Withers and Ravenel and their design. That design was based on prior work that was basically done and recommended by an engineering firm that is no longer working with the town. So what you had was some initial concepts. Withers Ravenel came along, they picked up on those and started moving those forward. And after Kurt and David Airwood, I think even Commissioner Diorio got involved in that process, they drilled down, they hit bedrock, and they realized that the initial recommendation, there was other opportunities to resolve this problem than to go with the initial recommendation by the engineers that are no longer with us. Just want to clarify that for the record.
Thank you so much, and we certainly appreciate, Kurt, all your input and diligence in this, as always, and Commissioner Diorio, in looking into this and making sure that we're charting the right path where we find a resolution for this. Are we ready then for a motion at this time to approve the basis of design for the Firefly Cove water system as proposed?
Madam Mayor, just a point of clarification, there is the word agreement that was left out of that sentence. So what you are approving basically is the agreement for the basis of design for the Firefly Cove water system as proposed. So you're approving the agreement in your packet if you choose to.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So I'll restate that. Do I hear a motion to approve the agreement of the basis of design for the Firefly Cove water system as proposed?
Madam Mayor, Diorio, I recommend the approval of I propose the approval of the agreement basis of design for the Firefly Cove water system as proposed.
Thank you, Commissioner Diorio. Is there a second?
Commissioner Kilby, I'll second that.
All right. And all in favor, if you'll please state your name.
Diorio, aye.
Kilby, aye.
Moore, aye.
Then the request to approve the agreement of the basis of design for the Firefly Cove water system as proposed passes unanimously. Thank you so much, and thank everyone for your hard work on that. We'll move on to item number C, which is the Town Hall illuminated sign proposal. And Shannon, I will either defer to you or to Laura, whichever.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just to kind of set the stage, this is a project that Laura has been working on for some time, and the money was appropriated in the budget. And I'll let Laura fill you in with the detail, but it's been a very thorough investigation to make sure that what's being proposed is in compliance with our sign regulations, and then went so far as to even have our planning board take a look at this as well. So let Laura take it from there.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, very
We
good.
can hear you. Thank you, Laura.
It was sometime after the first of the year when we were talking in the town council work groups about enhancing and improving some of our areas in town. And I believe town council had a discussion about the possibility of replacing the current sign that is in front of Town Hall, which I'm sure you're all familiar with it, but the sign requires a person to actually go and put letters on the sign to reflect when the next town council meeting would be occurring. And so the discussion was to look at new options to update that particular sign. So within your packet, you have a proposal, and this proposal reflects signs that you may be familiar with if you have seen the illuminated sign in front of the Mountains Branch Library, as well as the Bills Creek Fire Department, and further down the street, the Bills Creek Baptist Church. So I went to those locations and found out where they obtained their signs. It turns out they were all obtained from Stewart Signs. And in the course of doing some research for other options for illuminated signs, it seems others in the area, to include the Asheville area, that might provide signage like this, actually obtain their signs through Stewart Signs. So they seem to have the market, so to speak, and be the experts on producing these illuminated signs. So I did go to the Mountain Branch Library and talked with their staff about their signage. They really like the signage because you can change signage remotely, electronically. That's one positive of these signs. Additionally, another benefit of the sign is that rather than posting the one comment about when town council will be held, the signage can change and add another message should we have an emergency message or some other message that town council would want to make sure the public saw. Perhaps even notifying them to look at our website or something to that effect. So I think the proposal reflects what the sign might look like, so you can see a sampling of that. And Mike Williams did a thorough analysis to ensure that the signage would meet the ordinances that are in place for Lake Lure. So I'll stop there and see if there are any questions or other discussion about the signage.
Laura, thank you so much. Are there any questions for either Laura or for Mike? I know we've discussed this, you know, in previous months, and certainly it offers an opportunity for us for a number of things, but also to put up any emergency messages that we need to put up, which we've not been able to do in the past. So are there any other questions or comments, or is someone at a point where they'd like to move that we accept the proposal for the town hall illuminated sign?
Madam Mayor, I just have a couple of questions and perhaps just a couple of comments. So the,
All right.
the emergency messages, that'll be good to mirror, you know, our Everbridge messages that go out there. I think a sign there, I mean, pretty much passes that sign, right? And so it's going to get, it's not like it's in a remote location. It's going to get a lot of exposure. And queuing people to take a look at the website may have a lot of advantages. I mean, just this week, we had put out a message on a movement of a mobile home going into position on Boys Camp. And it's been on the website for a while, but not everybody reviews the website. If you had kind of a queuing on the sign outside the town hall, that may make your website more effective, I think. And so that, you know, I'm trying to think through, you know, $19,000 for the expenditure is a lot of money. And I want to make sure that we're getting some good value for that. And I think that that kind of a sign with the public safety aspect, the queue, the website, the town council updates, especially since a lot of folks don't have website access on the lake because of connectivity issues. I think that kind of investment may be a good deal, but my follow-on question would be, how are we going to pay for that? Where's the money coming from that?
I can tell you that Sam has the money is already allocated for this, so it's in the budget already. And beyond that, he might be able to answer more specifically.
I mean, is it coming out of the general fund, or are we going to redirect? I mean, it's associated with the kind of the Morris Park advancement scenario that we're going to, loosely linked to the marina. I don't know if that would be an option, but it looks like we're going, the town manager is shaking his head. It looks like we're going with the general fund for that.
Sam, are you with us, or
Yes.
Shannon, do you want to
Yes.
answer that?
Yes, that's correct. Sam, is there
Yes,
anything
that's
else you'd like to
correct.
add?
Yeah, it's budgeted in the general fund in the capital reserve fund. Or I'm sorry, the capital expenditure fund, capital
Okay.
outlay.
Oh, okay. Did we budget that this year? as a
Yes.
placeholder? Oh, we
We
did.
did.
All right,
Yes,
so
We
this,
did. That was
Oh,
it's a
budgeted.
line item.
oh, okay. How much, Sam, how much did we budget?
You are correct. 19.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, all right. So,
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was an add-on for this year. Okay, I'm good.
No.
No, it's within the budget.
Okay.
So
And I
the,
do think it's going to be important, just looking at last week when we had to declare a state of emergency. I think things like that are updated at a moment's notice when they need to be, that's going to be effective to be able to put on the sign as people pass by and know those situations.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions or comments on this from anyone? Okay, in that case, do I hear a motion to accept the proposal for the town hall illuminated sign?
Commissioner Kilby, I'll make the motion to approve the proposal to replace the
Oh.
existing town hall sign with an LED digital illuminated sign.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
Diorio second.
All right, all in favor?
Diorio, aye.
Kilby, aye.
Or aye.
All right, then the proposal stands approved as presented. Thank you so much. We'll move on then to item number D under new business, which is resolution number 21-10-12 regarding the use of design to build delivery method to complete the subaqueous sanitary sewer replacement project. That is a long proposal if I ever heard one. I'm not sure exactly who wants to speak to that. I don't think Labella is with us, but either Shannon or Kurt or David, do you want to speak to that?
I think
Sure.
I think I was slated on there to propose this, and though it is a joint effort, and certainly I'll defer to Reese as we go forward. So given, and we've talked a little bit about this before, but I'll recap for the benefit of the folks that are with us and watching. And so this design build authorized by North Carolina statutes is an authorized way to go for bid partnering design agent and a construction agent to move forward. Our particular system is really made for that kind of a methodology, and the reason for it is we're on a staggered schedule. We're not on a schedule where we could hire a contract at any moment. It's design build by nature because it's going to need modifications as we're going around the lake. We're going to run into barriers that we couldn't have foreseen. And so there's going to be, just by the nature of the system, there's going to be a lot of redesign associated with that. And it's a type of project which really requires an expertise. And you can't just get any contractor to come in there to work with HDPE that we're going to put in. So it takes a specialized contractor to do that. And so the whole methodology that we were proposing would be a partnership with a contracting agent that works through, hopefully for the whole 10 years of the project, that gets to know us, knows our schedule, knows what our concern is, expertise in the area, is flexible enough to adapt to the design as we go forward, and is a long-term partnership that we can relay the town's interests and they'd be responsible to that. If we didn't have that, we'd find ourselves into a constant bidding cycle for usually getting the lowest bidder, which may not be the greatest bidder, to move forward. And some of these folks would then be coming in on a system they're not really familiar with. And so this methodology allows us to partner. It allows us to do advanced procurement of materials to work with that agent, and it benefits, and it just makes sense, and it's allowed by North Carolina statutes. So this resolution, what it does is it strongly links us to that statute. So it's a statement that says, we understand the laws regarding this kind of bidding process. comply with them, methodology that town council concur to move forward for the bidding process. And so over to you. I may have forgotten a few things.
Hey, everyone. No, Commissioner Diorio, I think you hit them. I think you hit them all. To reiterate, we think this is the best approach because it does bring a contractor in very early. It allows for the material procurement to be accelerated. And given the complexities and the nature of this project, I think it's tailor-made for a design-build approach. This is specific to the gravity sewer, the GLS installation, the wastewater plant work, the sewer access valve work. That would all go continue under the traditional design bid build approach. But again, it's allowed by the state statutes. This is compliant with the SRF funding. We've already gotten approval from the SRF funding to pursue this route. So this resolution would establish a process wherein you would release a request for proposals. Design build teams would be able to submit a statement of qualifications, and you would be able to choose from those to pick your design build team. So it's something we're excited to be a part of and strongly believe in.
Thank you so much, Reese and Commissioner Diorio. Does anyone have any questions of either Commissioner Diorio or Reese Walsh from Labella? In which case, do I hear a motion to adopt resolution number 21-10-12 regarding the use, design, build, delivery method to complete the subaqueous sanitary sewer replacement project?
Madam Mayor, I'll make that motion.
All right, thank you, John. Commissioner Kilby, do I hear a second?
Commissioner Kilby, I'll second that.
All in favor, please state your name.
Diorio, aye.
Kilby, aye.
Moore, aye.
Then the resolution number 21-10-12 passes unanimously. Thank you so much for that. We are certainly making progress in our long journey to replace our sewer system. That completes all of our business under new business. Our next item is a closed session. So do I hear a motion to go into closed session? And this is for the purpose of discussing personnel matters.
I'll make a motion that we go session in accordance with GS 143-318.11A6 for the purpose of discussing personnel matters.
Thank you, John. Do I hear a second?
Commissioner Kilby, second.
All right, all in favor, please state your name.
Diorio, aye. I don't know if you heard me.
Kilby, aye.
No, I did not. I'm sorry. It's a little bit delayed here. It's
I
a
got
little
you.
difficult to see.
Moore, aye.
And Commissioner Kilby, I didn't hear you if you voted. I'm sorry.
I did. I voted.
Okay, I'm sorry. It's
That's okay.
blinking in and out. Then by unanimous approval, we will close our open session and go into closed session. Olivia, I know that we need to give you.
John Moore, you're
All right,
muted.
we're back on being recorded. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion that we adjourn the meeting.
I'll
Kilby,
Second.
Moore will second.
All in
Diorio-
favor?
Diorio, aye.
Kilby, aye.
Moore, aye.
We stand adjourned. Thank you.
All right. See you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.